Alright guys, this one we have a 1994 E4OD. This is out of an E350 box truck with a 7.5 liter diesel. And this was towed in. We got the call. The guy was on it's a electrical supply company truck. The guy was on a delivery, and all of a sudden transmission fluids all over the place. So we got a truck out there. We got it towed in. Got the trans out, and as soon as he pulled the converter out, of course I saw the problem. I mean, it was pouring out of the front. This is the front seal that they had in the car. Whoever worked on it last. There's also a rebuilt torque converter. And this actually is a C6 front seal. This is not an E4OD front seal. This is an E4OD front seal. And you can see it has the lip on it. So I guess I don't know why they put a C6 front seal in here. I don't know how long ago it was done, but this seal had popped out, and it was actually on the converter neck when we pulled the converter out. So we're gonna open this up. I'm sure the guy driving with this possibly might have done some damage. So we got the okay to pull it. We're gonna open it, and we're gonna see what we find. It's gonna get rebuilt. So first thing I'm gonna do is take the ring off of the stator. Okay, now we're gonna flip this thing up, take the pan bolts out. Actually, first I'm gonna get the pump bolts out, and then I'll flip the thing up. Looks like all the washers are stuck to the pump. And I will flip this up, take the pan down. This, of course, is a two-wheel drive. Okay, get all the pan bolts out. Alright, here's the pan. It's got a little clutch material, looks like right there, but overall, doesn't look too bad. we'll get rid of this pan gasket. Here's your two-wheel drive builder. Everything looks very discolored in here. You know, the aluminum. Alright, so now we're going to get the valve body off. This is the accumulator section. I'll also more than likely be filming a shift kit. On all E4ODs, I do shift kits as well as CD4Es, 4R, 55Es. I always do shift kits. Okay, here's the accumulator section of the valve body, and here is a little screen. Okay, so we'll get that. Here's the main section of the valve body. It should come off. I got all the bolts out. Okay, this actually has two sections, but for now we'll just take it like this. Then this section will come off. There's a couple of check balls in there. Being that it's an early, it's probably going to be two check balls in there. All right, now I'm going to take this tension plate off, or this kind of seals for reverse. And now the solenoid pack. Okay, this is going to be 30. One more 10mm. Okay, gonna get the solenoid pack off. Okay. Right now, this is an early solenoid pack. I'm just gonna hold it over the bench because it's dripping. But there's a tab here, and there's a tab, you know, here, pretty much on each side. The later ones just have the tab on the one side, but that's how I tell that it's early. All right, so I'm gonna move this aside. And a lot of times on these diesels, when lockup comes in, it comes in too early, and it really lugs the engine. Some company makes a delayed lockup, solenoid pack that works really nice. Looks like this other gasket is stuck here. Alright, it certainly looks like this thing was worked on. And here's your separator plate. That gets also addressed when installing a shift kit. And here's a Trans-Tech gasket, so you know something was done to this at some point. Obviously, because there's a wrong front seal was in there. Alright, here's the updated piston for the band. On the earlier ones, like this one, would have, there's actually a top plate and a snap ring and a different style piston, but you eliminate all that and just put the updated one in. Alright, here is the a relief valve and check ball. Okay, some of these also have screens. Only a couple of years took these screens and the screen goes right here. You know, once I get this thing apart, I'll give you a close-up of the case, but you have your 3 center support bolts here, and then the screen is going to go just above it. You can see there's actually a cutout. And that, I think, was, I think 90, not 100% sure, but I'm going to say 94 through maybe 96. Something to that effect took that screen. Okay, now we got some check balls. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9 check balls on the early. Alright, so now let's get these 10 support bolts out. See if I can get them with this. Yeah, because they're in there probably a little tight. So these are the center support bolts. We have 2 with the same size hole, and then we have 1 with a smaller hole. This goes on the top, and these 2 go right underneath there. Okay, so let's get the see if we can get the pump out. Turn it back this way. I'm going to see if I can start it, because see if I can get on a bolt, but I don't want to force anything. And I'm just going to turn this towards me, try to get this pump out. And what I do is I just kind of tap this up and down. This one's in here. Pretty tight. Now actually, I'm going to just see if I can switch the angle to get you, because I got to stand in front, I'll be in front of the camera. Okay, let me try to get this pump out. I hit it side to side and keep tension on the, holding on the stator. Okay, so here is the pump. All right, now let me I'll put the camera back where it was, and we'll continue. All right, so we got the pump out. And the next thing we're gonna get is the, all right, here is a bearing. Looks like they got two different rings here. This bearing here goes right on top, and there's a 2-tab washer, plastic washer here. All right, so let's get this coast drum out. This will come off. That's the sun gear. This is going to be the Overdrive planet. Also a sprag here. We'll just chunk this down and we'll open all this up. Alright, now we're going to get the Overdrive clutches out. Okay, snap ring. The clutches don't look too bad. Okay, now the next thing we're going to get is the Overdrive piston. We're going to take that snap ring out. Got to get my pliers. Okay. And and this particular snap ring likes to pop out. So when I put the shift kit in, this is the snap ring, and this is what it holds in, this Belleville spring. I don't put this back. When you put the Transco shift kit in, it actually has a spiral clip that goes in because this likes to pop out all the time. Okay, now I'm going to pull this piston out. Okay, here's the Overdrive piston. On the later models, this actually is molded. Okay, now we have the center support and we have another snap ring. So let's see where the end is. The end looks like it's right about here. Same as the Overdrive, large Overdrive one. Snap rings are the same. Gonna go in either way. Alright, this thing. All right, here's the center support. Your Overdrive piston goes on this side. Your intermediate clutch piston goes on this side. Here is the intermediate clutch piston. Here is that return spring for that. All right, so this was actually the 2-4 clutch piston. Now the center support is going to come out. Okay. It's in there a little tight again. Alright, let's see if we can move this thing a little bit. And it's moving. Alright, so you have your direct drum rides on the outside and the rings, and the inside, the rings are for the forward clutch. And there's also a washer here. Alright, now the next thing that's going to come out, we'll get the intermediate clutches and steels out. Okay. These are a little burnt, not too bad. And of course, when you're putting this back together, the pressure plate is going to go down first, so the stack up will look pretty much like that. And this will end up riding against the piston. Alright, here is a coast band. That's usually pretty good. Put those back. Here is your direct drum. We're going to open this up in a little bit. This aside, we're going to chunk this thing down first. Next is the forward frictions, forward drum. You got a 4-tab washer. 4-tab washer here that actually fits on these tabs right here. So this washer will go like this. And you want to be careful when you're putting the drums together that the washer does not fall down. So you can actually put this on the center support, put it on here, air checker, but when it's going in the car, you got to be careful that the washer, when you're installing it in the trans, into the case, you got to be careful that the washer does not fall down. So I use like the trans gel green, which is, you know, pretty thick stuff. And you also have a bearing here that goes right here also. This rides on the center support. This rides in between the forward drum and the center support right there. Another bearing. This rides on this side of the forward drum, right there. Okay, the front ring here, you got a 3-tab plastic washer. You have a 4-tab metal washer. Later units change to a bearing. Okay, here's your planet, just like that. Okay, here is a bearing that goes on the back side of the forward planet. So it goes right in here, fits right in there like that. Okay, you have another 3-tab washer, but got 2 of these tabs that busted off and 2 are on there, so we're going to be changing this. And the shell likes to crack, so there's a real tight snap ring in between the gear and the shell here. And I take the snap ring out and I clean up the shell real good, and where it kind of sits inside here, you really got to look at it because it likes to crack, and being this is a big diesel truck, more than likely I'm going to change this. Okay, so now we got to get another snap ring out. This is going to hold the rear planet in. Okay, that's a snap ring for the rear planet. Here is the rear planet. Another 4-tab washer. This one has all the tabs intact. So we'll probably use this one over. Looks pretty good. This thing is apart. Now we want to turn this, and there is a snap ring that holds the output shaft in. So I'm going to get my bent snap ring pliers. I use these, the bent tip. And let's see how easy this is going to come out. Let me try like this first. And you know what? Let me just grab this snap ring out. Okay, Here's that snap ring. Right now we can get the rear ring gear out. You're gonna have a bearing here. Sometimes on the really early units there's a washer, but this one has a bearing. Alright, now here's the housing that reverse friction spline on, and here is the low sprag. And this low sprag, you just twist this and it comes right out. This is the updated one. A lot of times the early ones that's metal, but it's been updated. So that looks good. Here's the housing. All right, we're going to get the low reverse clutches out. All right, here is the snap ring for that. The low reverse clutches. Okay, these don't look too bad. Not too bad. Alright, so the next thing we got to do is Alright, so what I got to do now is stand this thing up. We're going to pull the tail off. So let me just get organized here. Let me get rid of some of this oil. And I'll be back in 2 seconds. Alright, so we're going to take this tail off. These are 13mm bolts. Okay, just one thing you want to watch out for on these E4ODs. Got a couple of bolts that go right here that are a little smaller, and when you hold them up, see, it's a little smaller. So those go, the two shorter bolts go here. Alright, so here's the tail. Check the bushing. How does that put you have to slide right out? Here is the park gear. There's a washer in between that and the case. And the parking pole. Okay, this here gets set up. The rod goes through. The spring goes there, and then this anchors onto the case. Alright, so now we got to get the race for the low reverse sprag is bolted in here. So actually I got to get my socket for that. Let me get my socket, we'll take that out. Okay. That's what one of those bolts look like. One more, you're going to hear it drop. Okay, now we're going to blow the piston out. Here's the reverse piston, return spring, and the race. Sits just like that. Alright, now let me redo this, face it down, we'll open up the drum, check all the clutches. Alright guys, one quick note on this race. You gotta make sure this thing is smooth. There's no steps in it. And there also is a lube hole right here, which comes here and comes out there. You gotta line this lube hole up with the one in the case. You'll see you'll see it. That's not a problem, but I'm not 100% sure if this will bolt in any other way. It might, but you gotta just make sure you put this loophole, line this up. I put my 2 liner pins here and here, and I find the loophole and then just put this right in so I know I got it right on. Alright, so let's open up this forward drum. We'll see what these frictions look like. Okay, these don't look too bad. Not bad at all. Maybe lucky for this guy, this just came right out and all the fluid just totally poured out. Okay, now there's another snap ring in here. Holds the bell spring in, which holds the piston in. Okay, so here is the spring. And here is the piston, and this has this little ring on it that the return spring sits on. So you want to make sure that that's in there. This right here goes right on the piston. Okay, now this direct drum, you have a sprag. Okay, this thing looks like it turns counter. And this whole thing is just going to lift right off. So I just kind of keep it together. Has a big washer here. Okay, so we're just going to keep this as a set and put it aside. Alright, here are the direct frictions. Okay, these are a little burnt, so these are going to be changed. A little singed around here. Also, this bushing is pretty common to wear down. This one large bushing in here, I always change that. Okay. Here's the coast. This comes right off. There's a bushing in here. Make sure that's okay. Alright, so we're going to check these frictions. These are usually pretty good. They don't go bad too often. Actually, well, they're not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Alright, so this is the Overdrive planet set. We got a bearing here. Now let's see if we can get this snap ring out. Okay. This cap will come off. Here's that piece. Here is your Overdrive planet. You got a big washer here, plastic washer. Let's put that aside. And you have your bearing. That goes right here. A lot of times these will crack right here, and a lot of people upgraded to a steel planet. Okay, this is the sprag here. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this out, take the snap ring out, take the sprag out, the whole assembly. And we're going to put it aside. Push the sprag back down, put it aside, and leave it just like this so it stays together. You could run solvent through it, rinse it out, but that looks pretty good. Okay, so the only thing we got really left here is the pump. So let's open that. So again, you have your washer here, you have your 2-tab washer here. Alright, we've got 2 different rings. And now we're going to open up the pump, all 10 millimeter bolts. Okay, take all the 10 bolts out. All right, now we'll pull the stator off. Okay. This looks pretty good. Just discolored. I don't know why it's so discolored. But it looks alright. It's nice and smooth here. Here is your body and gears. And so we'll take it out. Alright, this doesn't feel too bad. I'm going to change this bushing that's here. And that's when I buy the, I'm going to give you a shot of the bushing, because there's really no lip. There's really no lip here, so the bushing can spin out fairly easy. So I use on the early units, there's no lip. On the later ones, there is. So I buy, even though I put a ship kit in it, there's a what's called a code 62 kit, because code 62 is common. I think it's a lockup code on the early units, so they give you a whole thing to put in the pump and fix it, and they give you a pump bushing with like knurls in it or little splines in it, because these bushings come out so often. So I actually buy the kit just to use that particular bushing, and then I use a transgo shift kit. But all in all, this isn't in too bad a shape. We're gonna put an overhaul kit. We're gonna put a transgo shift kit. We're gonna change some bushings and some frictions. And we're gonna do this up and get it done. All right, so before we go, let me just open this section right here. This is the valve bite. I'm gonna take these 2 bolts out, and there'll be probably, the early one's gonna be 2 check balls in here. So let's take this apart. Wow. And you really got those tight. Alright, so we'll put these aside. Okay, so here is, you got 2 valves in here. You want to make sure, of course, they're free. You got a little separator plate right here. And you got two check balls. You have one right here, and you have the other one right here. On the later ones, they could have up to like 4. And we'll put those aside. Okay, so this is again a 1994 E4OD. By the looks of the case on the top of the bell housing, the bolts are really wide apart, so that usually means it's a diesel case. And this thing was the toe-in. We found the front seal. Whoever built this last put a C6 front seal in. I don't know how long ago it was done. The guy really didn't say anything. This is the correct seal, the E4OD seal. That should have been put in and probably would have been fine. So we're going to do this up, fix it up, and get it back in the car, in the truck, and get this guy on the road. Alright guys, I thank you for watching. Your questions, comments are welcome. And thanks so far for everybody that's watching and writing in. I'm actually got a couple of phone calls. People find me somehow. But alright, thanks for watching, and you all have a great day, and we'll see you next one. Alright guys, just a quick follow-up video on this E4OD. As I was tearing the unit down on the video, I said I'm going to double check this shell because the shell's like the crack, so I just wanted to show you when I did take it apart, the shell actually was cracked. So this piece, would fit right around in here. So this is something, when you're doing these E4ODs or 4L100s, you definitely want to check this. This one is bad. Normally it's not broken off here, but if you clean it and look at it, you could see cracks, usually kind of, down just like that. But this particular one was completely broken off. So I got the new shell, and that's all intact. Of course, it's brand new, but a lot of times it'll crack. Around in here. You want to really look at it close. So I just wanted to show you that. Another thing we got to do with this E4OD is update this switch. Now this is the old switch. As you can see, it has the 2 tabs here where it hooks up. Okay, this switch gets updated with the latest one. A lot of times if you would leave this old switch on, this could cause a symptom like hard shifts on this unit, and it won't give you any codes. So this is the latest switch that's going to get hooked up, and what we do is we transfer all the wires over. We pull the wires out one at a time, put them back in. There's either 6 or 8 wires. This particular one has 6, and this switch will go back in on the installation. So whenever you get an early one, I think up to 95 or 95 and later is when they came out with this one. You want to update the switch. And the pump bushing that I was speaking about, out of that Code 62 kit, this is what it looks like. I don't know if you could see these knurls right here. And this will keep the pump bushing from spinning, because on this pump here, there's no lip. So when there's no lip, this thing has a tendency possibly to move out. And it actually happened to me once years ago, and ever since then, I've been using this pump bushing with these knurls in it, or splines in it, and I've never had a problem. So I just want to do a quick follow-up on those couple items on this E4OD. I'm working on it now. And I guess that's about it for this one. So now we're going to be installing a shift kit. Alright, so I will be back. Thanks for watching, guys.